So we've talked about the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services licensed childcare centers and family and group homes. The Illinois State Board of Education and Chicago Public Schools preschool for all programs, they go through a particular process where they are contract based with the state through that State Board of Education or with Chicago Public Schools. So they have different measures that they're meeting just to get the contract. And some of those measures actually correlate with the standards in ExceleRate Illinois. So when we see, their contracts in place, we work with State Board of Education and CPS to gather their ratings and then put them in the same searchable database so that parents can find those programs as well. Head Start as well. Head Start and Early Head Start programs, they meet federal standards and they're a contract-based grant entity. So as their ratings are given, and most of the Head Start, Early Head Start programs fall under the license portion of this. There are just a few that are not licensed childcare facilities for various reasons, and most of that has to do with where they're placed. But Head Start, Early Head Start programs fall under the license portion. But in order to be designated a Head Start, Early Head Start program, there are significant amounts of paperwork and on-site assessments, just like with State Board of Ed and CPS, that they go through to actually gain the designation of a Head Start, Early Head Start program. So some of the measures that they have gone through actually correlate again with the ExceleRate Illinois program. And I think that's like one of the beautiful things about this. If you go to the website and look at the overall chart, you'll see childcare, so licensed programs, you'll see preschool for all programs and Head Start programs all in the same line. So you're getting a picture of what it takes in each of the settings to actually meet the standard. And they kind of just line up. So some of them, as long as their grant is in good standings, they're meeting it. Some of them, if their license is in good standings, they're meeting it. We just try to meet people where they were at. And that includes accreditation. So with accreditation, you're having an on-site assessment, you're going to have a portfolio review and document review and all of those things. So really looking at the ones that are on the website, committees look through what the standards were that we were asking for in ExceleRate Illinois. And they also then compared that with what was already being asked for in a national accreditation and kind of blended them in such a way to say that, yeah, you've got this accreditation and it actually meets 90% of what we're looking for. So you just need to do this other 10% and we can then award you a circle of quality, saving programs. Family childcare, though, do have different standards of quality practices and procedures that they need to meet through the ExceleRate program, because we recognize that not only is the family childcare business a business first and foremost, it's the livelihood. They are the administrator, they are the teacher, janitor, cook. They are the everything going on in this one person show. And so they can't be held to the exact same standards as a center where you have designated positions and designated classrooms most times. And, everyone kind of is siloed into their own part. So a director does the administrative piece. You could have a teacher who is in charge of curriculum. We recognize that a family childcare and group home providers are that person intermingled into one person. So their standards look quite different. It's interesting because family childcare, again, is very different. You have networks, you have associations, all of those run different. You have people that don't tap into state and local resources and they're kind of in a silo or a bubble on their own. So really talking about how do we make people aware. Like even if they didn't want to apply, just making them aware of some of the services that are out there, encouraging them to get involved, to be recognized for the quality that they're giving and things like that. So we're just beginning conversations with a committee about what would this look like if we refreshed ExceleRate Illinois for family childcare. The best part about that is having family childcare people at the table. And in particular, in reference to COVID-19, COVID's hit everyone pretty hard here in 2020. And just letting center providers and family childcare know that on-site assessments have been suspended through the end of the calendar year 2020. I'm sure decisions about what that looks like moving into 2021 will be shared, but I haven't had any news about that or updates to give other than no on-site assessments through 2020. I'm sure that as they reopen that, when you're talking about 3/4 of a year's worth of assessments needed through multiple program avenues, there we'll definitely be thinking about caseload management so that we don't overwhelm the assessment system to try to get those through. What we did in place of that, though, to ensure that programs kept their circle of quality, even if they needed an on-site assessment, was to offer a different pathway just for this year so that people could maintain their circles of quality. And one of the good things about looking at a program as it is having the opportunity to actually refresh it and bring it up to date. So at this point, ExceleRate Illinois is doing a pilot of new standards with a select group of centers to see how this works. It's not saying we're going to change the entire structure of the program or all of the standards and trainings and things, but we've got to try something new and see how it works, and then fold that into be more widely publicly available when there's agreement to the new standards. We are really focusing in on the early childhood portion of that, so preschool for all and those, so 0 to 5 would really be our focus. One of the good things though is that though there's not a designated path for school age programs at this point, that is something that is will eventually be a point of discussion, because we know that children grow on a continuum and we want them to have these quality experiences throughout that continuum.